ladies, and welcome to The Beauty Shaman. So I just did a trip to Costa Rica to do hair, makeup, and wardrobe for a hat catalog called Wallaroo Hats. And I'm going to put a link down below so you can check them out. Wallaroo hats are absolutely fabulous. If you've never checked out Wallaroo hats, they're great. They're SPF. They block the sun. They're just fantastic. They're great quality. I love shooting this catalog every year because we go to different locations and we get to work with different varieties of models, which I love. And it is all about summer and the hat and being fabulous. And I just, obviously totally floats my boat. So what I wanted to do today was show you what I used on the models in Costa Rica. As you know, Costa Rica is very hot. It was about 90 degrees every day, probably around 90% humidity every day. Very hot. I actually got dehydrated at one point, started downing Coca-Colas. I never drink Coca-Cola. It was actually a little bit hard for me physically because I went from Colorado where it was we were getting below zero temperatures. And then I got on a plane and I was 90 degrees and I had to work, 10, 11 hours on my feet running around in the heat every day. So it was a little challenging, but it was absolutely beautiful. We were in Nosara, which is just a beautiful part of Costa Rica. So I wanted to use on me and show you what I put on the models. And we had different colored skin. We had, I would say relatively darker skin up until we had one blonde model. So we had a nice kind of scale of skin color, which I love. And I really used this palette on everybody. So we're gonna talk about what palette I used and how I kept their makeup on in that heat all day long. And I'm gonna teach you how I did that. Let's get going. Okay, before we get started, please visit my website at thebeautyshaman.com. And also please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell on the lower left-hand corner here on YouTube in order so that I can continue to make great content for you. So what are you drinking today? I've got my tea. I've got my fennel tea. I'm a huge fennel tea fan. I love fennel tea. I'm a little cold because it's a little chilly in my studio. And I wanted to wear a tank to show, Costa Rica, yay. And I'm kind of cold, so I've got my hot tea. I also wanted to point out I've got some really cool jewelry on. My friend Annie Gangle makes these. That's a little Buddha she got in Thailand. Beautiful, beautiful ring and necklace here that I'm totally in love with. So I wanted to point that out. If you're interested in my jewelry, please visit her. Again, go to the show more down below and you can see everything I put on my face today as well as her link and Wallaroo's link. So the palette I used for the trip to Costa Rica was this one, and it is Tom Ford. In this lovely case. So these are all creams, which I love, especially in hot weather. Creams sometimes can hold up way better than powders. So I bought this specifically to go to Costa Rica. I do have other cream shadows, but I needed something with more of a bronzed look. I wanted that very bronze, sun-kissed kind of a look to it. So this palette in particular really spoke to that idea. So I actually still have even the cover on it here. With these are still, I've used them a little bit, but I still have the cover, so I'll take that off. So even though I've used it a bit, you can see that it's still, sorry, let me turn that over. There we go. It's still, still in great shape. So Tom Ford, lovely. They have a little bit of an iridescent to them, but they're all in the lovely bronze family, which is what I really wanted for that particular place. Now, I have a little bit of color to my skin, so I can pull this off better than if I was my usual white self. So I think these are just absolutely beautiful, and I'm excited to show you what I did on all the models. Okay, so to get started, obviously, in sun, you need sunblock. Always, always put sunblock on. Don't do 40, 50 sunblock. It's pointless. Get 20, 25, and then reapply every couple of hours. That's the best thing to do. Just because you get a higher number, like 50, doesn't mean it's going to last, 20 times longer. It doesn't mean that at all. It's better to get the lower level and then reapply every 2 hours, which is what I did in Costa Rica. Okay, so first of all, let's just put a little bit of moisture in our skin. So I'm going to put a little AHA, alpha hydroxy acids, here to help exfoliate your skin. Because when you're getting a lot of sun, even if you're using sunblock, you need to keep your skin exfoliated. So I'm going to do 2 pumps of that and put that on my skin to keep it nicely exfoliated in the sun. And then a little bit of serum. I'm going to use my Truth Treatment C Serum. Get the lid off, which is never a good thing. And you just need 2 drops of that. And this is loaded with vitamin C. Really keeps your skin hydrated in hot weather, in all weather, and plumps it up. Vitamin C is one of the most important things you can use on your skin. Okay, so to keep your makeup on, you definitely need a little bit of primer. So I use this on Everybody Jane Iredale Smooth Affair Primer. Very small amount, doesn't take a lot. I also really sometimes mix this with my foundation if I didn't want to put a lot of foundation. And most of the girls, I'd say all of them, had incredible skin. So I didn't need to use a ton of foundation on their skin. I really tried to keep it as sheer as possible. I am going to put some foundation on me, but again, very, very, very sheer. I'm going to use my Kojen Do, my new little passionate, I'm very passionate about Kojen Do right now. Just got this in the mail, and I did a review on that, so I'll put that up in the corner. But this is their, it's called Moisture Foundation. So it's very rich and moisturizing, and a little goes a long way. You only need like 2 drops of this particular product. So again, very light. I'm just going to put a very soft amount on my face. I'm not gooping it up. I'm not going to layer it. You know, I'm really just wanting more of a skin look, but obviously a little bit of a barrier between my skin and, you know, I was dealing with models, so it's the skin and the camera, because you don't want them to look too translucent, right? Like they just have nothing on at all. In some cases that actually works fine, but mostly you just need a really sheer amount. Okay, so I think that looks really pretty. It is a tiny bit light on me, so I'm going to darken that up with a little bronzer. But I'm going to do a little bit of lightening around my eyes. I'm going to use, it's called Amazing Concealer. I'm just going to dot this right on the inner corner. Just to brighten it up a little bit. Because very easily we can look sunken right in here. And we were working such long days that, you know, it was tiring. And the models did a great job of just keeping their energy up. And, you know, I didn't. I was sucking down Coca-Cola. I was a wreck. But that's okay. I made it. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of a cream contour here. For a lot of the models, they had such beautiful, you know, faces and cheekbones and things. They didn't need a whole lot of contour. I did use a little bit. I just wanted, on a couple of the girls, I just wanted a little bit more shape. And that's really the reason you would use contour, is just to add a little bit of shape. So I think that's pretty. I kind of did it. And put a little bit underneath here, because I have a bit of a droop right here, as so many of us. So if you just put some contour right on your chin and blend it in, helps to take that out. I'm going to add a little bit of bronzer because we're in the sun. So some Bobbi Brown medium bronzer here. Just to warm it up. Because as you can tell, this didn't really warm it up. This just gave me a little bit of shape. Now this isn't a cream. But that's okay. If you have a cream bronzer, you can use it. Powders are fine too. Everyone had a really dark tan, so I didn't need to warm them up very much. Their skin was already really warm, except I think one of the girls didn't have such a dark tan, so I warmed her up even more. So that's what bronzer's for. I mean, it's fabulous, right? Just to add that extra warmth to your skin, which I just did. So yay. Okay, so we're going to do eyes and then everything else. And I'm going to use this Tom Ford with a goat-haired MAC brush here. And I'll put this all down below. You want to use a brush with hair that isn't going to go, right? If you're using things like this, so this is probably weasel or like a really, really soft hair. If you use this with a cream, it's just going to like, bleh. So you want to use a hair that's a little bit stiffer, that isn't going to do that, that you can wash, okay? Well, you can wash any of them, but this one's really easy to wash. All right, so I'm going to use this bronze, this dark bronze to start off with. And I use this on everybody, okay? Like every color, which was amazing that this palette covers kind of everybody. I didn't have super dark. I would say it's like a medium to dark up until a blonde woman. All right, so we're just going to use this and we're going to work it in slowly. So I'm putting it on and I'm basically doing this as a wash. So it's going to go all over. And I'm going to use kind of a circular motion to just blend this. I didn't want them to look like they had a lot of makeup on, so I wanted it to be sort of sheer. I haven't done my eyebrows yet. We'll get to that. So I'm just putting this everywhere. Oh, one trick that I forgot to mention is to use an eye base. So my eye base, the cover has worn off of it, but this is Lip Bar. And then you just use, I mean, obviously I used a bit of a darker color for the darker colored skins, but that also can really help to keep your makeup on. I forgot to put it on here, but that's a really good trick, is to have a good eye base, especially if you have oily lids. I do not have oily lids, so sometimes that's why I forget. So see how pretty that is? That's just softly put all over, but it's a lovely, lovely bronze. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the lighter bronze right here and use that on my lid, kind of inner to outer, just to lighten it up just a bit right in there. Lovely gold. Okay, moving on. All right, we're going to hit this one now. So this is, oh, that's the one I just used. So let's use a little bit of a darker gold in the outer edge. So we're really getting kind of a lighter blended into a darker gold, right? With the base of the bronze underneath. This is such a workable palette. Can I tell you how much fun I had doing this on everybody? Like, hello, how amazing is that? Isn't that pretty? Now I'm going to use this slanted brush, and I'm going to take that dark bronze, the dark one that I used all over my lid, and I'm going to put it underneath. So the great thing about creams is they don't move as much as powders, and especially if you're sweating, it tends to hold up really well. I can tell you that these held up so beautifully. I was really impressed. And normally, you know, at least an hour after applying some sort of eyeshadow, I have to go through and take a little bit of oil off, even when I use eye bases. So the fact that I didn't need to even blend it in at all, like it just looked spectacular the whole day, was really incredible. All right, so I'm doing that same dark bronze, and I'm going right next to my lashes. So we're really surrounding the eye with the bronze, the dark bronze. Isn't that nice? We're also going to use a little bit of liner, which I used on everybody. On darker skin, you can definitely use a black liner. On the lighter skin models, not so much, right? I couldn't get away with that quite as easily. So I'm going to use a warm brown on me just because I am a whitey. Okay, so I've got those colors. And if you want, you can also take this really light gold if you'd like. And we're going to use that as a little bit of a highlight, maybe on my cheekbones or something. But I'm going to use, this is MAC Kajal eyeliner. These are waterproof or water repellent, I think. But I love these. These actually did not run the entire day when I was there, again, in front of the camera, 95, 90-degree temperature. And, you know, it doesn't run down their face. This is when you love a product. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it underneath the waterline. So I really get that coated. Okay, and then I'm going to use it on the top. And I'm going to blend it. So I'm not worried about this being perfect. Put it more dense on the outside and very sheer, not sheer, but a thinner line up here. Really to accentuate that upper eye. Okay, see that? Really nice. I also took my waterproof eyeliner and I went a little bit on the lower shelf. Okay, so I did the upper waterline and I also did a little bit of the lower one. Be careful because for some of you that can really close your eyes in. So you want to just obviously make this so that it works on you. I don't typically do the lower waterline because I think sometimes it's just too intense on older women. But I do like this. I think it looks really, really dramatic, really, really pretty. Okay, so before I stop with my eyes, I want to touch a little bit of this, and I just want like a second of it on my lid. Woo! Look at that. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And I might just put a tiny bit here. Because why not? We just love a little bit of shine, right? It's all about a little shine. But I think my skin looks amazing. Look at that. Like it just, with a little bit of the iridescent, not the iridescent, but the Kojendo foundation and spectacular. Like, I'm just madly in love with it. All right, so now I'm going to do, I actually used waterproof Maybelline Great Lash Mascara on everybody, but that's not what I'm going to do right now. But I would say if you're going to be out in hot weather, just get yourself some waterproof mascara. It'll save you a lot of headache. Okay, so we're going to move on to cheeks and lips. But before we do that, I'm going to hit the Koh Dough powder, which I am madly in love with, by the way. And it is just a pressed powder, and I want to show you what this looks like. So it comes with a little puff, and it looks like this. So it's got a lovely, this is for obviously lighter skin people with white. So it's got kind of a lovely neutral, slightly rosy tone, which gives your skin a lovely little bit of a shimmer to it. And then the white, which is a phenomenal highlighter, by the way. So I'm just going to take this brush and dip it into the flesh toned one and only hit the points that I would find distracting in front of a camera, right under here. Not the whole face. One of the girls had fairly oily skin, so I did have to keep her pretty powdered, but most of the girls were fine. So see, I just lightly touched that. And this powder is so lovely and translucent. It just sets beautifully into your skin. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And it gives a little slightly rosy tone, which I love, 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 love. And then I can take the white part and just highlight a little bit with that. But be careful, this is white. So if you have darker skin, obviously this color is not appropriate, but I think that's really pretty. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of blush. I use this blush on everybody. This is MAC, and it's called Cheer Up. And it's a lovely coral. So look at that, isn't that pretty? And I'm just gonna put it on with my ring finger and just tap it into my cheek. So this just looked so glowy and pretty on everybody. They're in the sun, they've got their hats on, they're looking really summery. And this just, it's just a really pretty soft, look at that, just gorgeous cheek color. I just think that's really super pretty. And then on everybody, I tried to do like a very shimmery, not shimmery, but maybe lip gloss or just like a pale color. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to do just a kind of a soft coral because we're really sticking with the coral warm tone idea. Okay, so this is really mucky, so please forgive my muckiness here. I do clean it and then it just immediately, melts a little bit in my kit. So I'm going to use this color right here and I will tell you what that color is down below because I don't know right now. I have to look it up because everything's sort of, in my kit. So this is a lovely orange. I think this is so pretty. Especially when you're dealing with bronzes, why not? Now I actually didn't use this color on everybody. I put more of a rosy tone because most of the theme with the clothing was neutrals and pinks. So cooler tones, not so much warm tones. That had to do with the hat colors. But today we're going to do this because I think it's super awesome. Then I'm going to do this MAC Chicory Lip Liner. So I'm not going to put lip gloss on my lips because I feel like I've got all the shimmer and shine I want on my eyes. I think that looks so pretty. And then just a strong kind of coral lip I think is super pretty with this. This is a really on-trend 2021 spring-summer look, by the way, with the bronzy eyes and a strong orange lip color. I saw you, if you watch any of the award shows, you saw a lot of women wearing this. It's a really in thing right now. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you kind of live vicariously through me on my trip to Costa Rica, which was super fun. Swim in the oceans and ocean. And fry my hair in the sun. It was amazing. It was actually really awesome. The food was great. So I love Costa Rica. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Please write down below if you have any questions or thoughts. I always love to hear from you. And I hope you all are doing really well and staying super positive. Have a great day.